All right, the boys are back. Belmont is back. The concrete jungle.
Oh
Welcome,
yeah.
Toby.
Welcome,
You,
Kev.
you excited?
Oh yeah. I actually am. I wish it was pissing down with rain. That would actually get me more excited.
That would just be
Just want it. I'd only
if there
want it
was a
to ease
starter
off.
pack for Belmont. It's grey
Yeah.
skies, rain,
Oh
and just sitting at old mate's bar with a
yeah.
couple
Yep.
of pints, living
Watching the
the
footy.
dream. That's it. Got vest on. Oh, can't wait. Love Belmont season. Um, 9 race card to kick off. There's not much rain about. 2 meter
There is zero
rail.
rain about.
What are you what are you saying? Sorry, I was meant to
Uh
say there's light winds.
oh yeah. There is some very light winds that looks like they're probably tending northerly, which is something different. Don't think that will affect the racing too much. I have no idea what to expect of the track because I don't know how much time the new bloke who has seemingly fixed Ascot has spent at Belmont. If he spent plenty of time there, I think it'll be a pretty even surface. Otherwise, I have no idea what to expect. I've got an idea of what to expect from the 1,000 meter shoot races based off last year that with that reconfiguration that I've talked about before. Be on speed or horse you give the off-speed horses the respect they deserve, but I just wouldn't want to punt any of them unless I was getting massive overs on my prices. So at
All
the
those
moment,
horses
just
are just one out of the box.
yeah, pretty much.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, look, this Belmont season, I'm actually really looking forward to it. Like you said, I think the Belmont 1000, whilst I think it's fairly publicized, I still think you're still going to be able to get enough value to get involved and take
You've
advantage
got to
of that
buy.
reconfiguration that you mentioned.
There'll come a time when the market will overcorrect for it. I don't think we're quite there yet, but I will just continue to punt it as I see it.
Exactly. Long may it run. All right, kicking off race number one over the 5 furlongs for 2-year-olds. We have Silent Diva 350, Capitola's 370, Perfect Sister $4, Brave Wasp 6, Buckled 850, and the high double figures the rest. Take it away.
Thinking Capitola will do everything in its power to lead. Thought its run last start probably wasn't anything special considering it was a day that it was a good to be on the fence throughout, which he did. Didn't do anything overly special times wise, but did run them right along and got tired late. So back the 100 meters, I think suits. I think Braden on keeping the weight about the same. He'll know he'll be told just to ride hard and fast. We've talked about the Belmont 1000 already. I think this will be your first leader, and I think that's enough to, at the price, probably have a bet. Like I say, I don't think he did anything outstanding last start, but I think it was enough to suggest that leading at the Belmont 1000, he could probably do it again. A couple of trollers that were good. Um, Silent Diva looked sharp enough. Didn't look like a magnificent type to me from the trials. It would be interesting to see her on race day. And just, I think she'll have to get back, which we've spoken about will make it harder. Arctic Snow visually was okay, but times were very slow. And Brad Parnham not riding confused me a little bit. He rides Buckled, who trialled better. Wasn't convinced about him initial prep, but think he has to go back here. So again, I think that makes it harder. Perfect Sister went to the Karrakatta, wasn't really suited, just plugged away. Look, like I said, Brave Wasp probably a better run than Capitola last start from back in the field, but was another one that was fancy run. So you can't. I don't want to read as much into it. Probably just suited to Capitola running along and stopping late. He'll have to come wide this start, so that'll make it harder for him.
Yeah. Yeah, completely agree with Capitola. I think the race experience probably has the upper hand on these new starters. Like you mentioned, Silent Diva trialed up nicely. Arctic Snow was good. From the inside draw, it wouldn't shock me if Joey tries to dig it out, but I just think that race experience with Capitola and Braden Garth will just be aggressive. It comes from a yards that's more often than not just ridden for speed. And it's, catch me if you can type areas to start off with. Race number two, another 5 furlong race over the 62. It's another 5 furlong race, 62 plus handicap. We have KTY 230, Repossession 320, Desert Whisper 750, Earthstorm 850, Anaballistic 950, and High Double Figures, the tail. Is it just another case of find the one that goes to the top?
Um, I'd like to. Um, I I'm coming around to the idea that Desert Whisper crosses. I thought she'd be minimal chance last start with Nikki Motor and Lucky Raw, but she's just very quick. And then you look down this line, think Famous Dream would sit, and then Art Session probably isn't 1,000 meter quick. Repossession, if he jumps as good as he can, would be a chance of holding her, but I just don't have a lot of trust. And like I say, she's very quick. If she got across nice and cheaply, she would become pretty hard to beat, I think, off the back of last run. Just KTY looks a really nice horse, but got to suck up along the rail last start and never really got held up. Was a good win nonetheless. Did it quite stylishly on the line, but coming wide and from last, even in the smallish field at the Belmont 1,000, if Desert Whisper gets across easy, I think it would be hard. With I certainly with these back markers like this at the Belmont 1,000, you sort of got to pay them the respect they deserve because he does probably look the best horse in this race, but I just don't think I would ever really want to be punting him at a price he's going to be or start. Um, just he'll be last. The one thing in his favour is I think Anaballistic gets caught through wide, no cover, and so probably is a pretty good cart into the race for him.
Yeah.
But if Desert Whisper crossed easily, like I'm starting to come around to the idea of, I'd be more than happy to have a ticket on her at the price. So just be monitoring that at the moment.
Yeah. Look, I completely agree. I think KTY is going to be the best horse in this race. I think he'll be better over 1,200. That being said, he he pushed Smooth Mover to a nose over 1,200. I think that's
And
really
that
strong
was
enough for
unsuited as well that day,
yeah.
like breezing at 1,200.
And then even last start, he was caught up and just in the ugliest position ever, and just extended, took Desert Whisper with a fair bit in hand. I completely agree with you saying about Desert Whisper. Um, Again, from the same camp as race one, where they're just ridden for pure speed. Um, the thing that interests me with Repossession, its win in the Placid Art Prelude was really impressive. I liked it when it went to the top, did everything right, had obviously, again, has the best front running jockey in the state with Brad on. Um, and his run in the Placid Arc itself wasn't actually too bad. That's what was that?
Just wasn't sure if it was I thought it was only as good as Golden Vale. I don't think I'd back Golden Vale in this with 60 kilos or 58, adjusting for fillies and mares.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. The
But he
400.
probably is going to be a nicer horse than her, and with the benefit of this spell.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the benefit of this spell has actually done him a world of good. That 400-meter trial, obviously they're hard to line up, but the biggest thing for them is you get to see their gate speed.
Yeah, and
That's
you're
the
not going
one
to run 23 seconds flat if you don't jump quick.
exactly, and it's exactly what he did. Um, and I just feel like as we get closer to the end of the season, he's starting to mature a bit, put a bit more together. I'm
Does have
more
the
than
scalp of September born in a trial.
does does. Um, so look, I'm happy to go with Repossession, but I'll be having a result Desert Whisper. The rest just look a little bit unsuited. Obviously, terrified of what KTY can do on its day.
Yep.
Race number three, another one of our happy 5 furlong races, 65 plus handicap. We have Prospectors Pick 245, Rich and Co 290, Keep It a Mystery 420, double figures the rest. Just looks like a match race.
Well, it depends on if Prospectus Pick wants to take part in the match.
Oh,
They chose to sit last time. I've seen people writing previews, assuming it'll sit, which I think is absolutely wild. I think they'd have to be just basically not want to. You can't, even if you want to sit, you cannot in this race, if you want to win it, sit to your biggest danger. That would just be absolutely ridiculous. In my opinion, I get that they own it and they might want to teach it something, but if, like I say, if they want to win this start, sitting would be ridiculous. Um, so for that reason, I had very little confidence in the race. I think if Prospectus Peak wanted to lead, I think he would more than likely win. I thought his first up run was really good. On the full, went good again the next start, ran another good figure, like they did in Prospectus Peak's first up run. Rachenko went really well first up, leading. They didn't push him out, so I don't think they'll push him out again. I think it'd just be if he bounced and dragged himself to the front, which I understand. They don't want to fire him up in his races, which makes sense, but they take the lead when it's there. So thought he would end up OSL early if Prospectors Pick held the front, and then just because they don't want to push him, I thought he might end up 1-1. But 1-1 or OSL is still a pretty good spot to make a race of it with Prospectors Pick. Keep It a Mystery, another one who used to be able to go, well, still can go forward when they want to, but has been going better ridden colts. I think they do that again. And Regal Statue trialled absolutely enormous, just not convinced on her at 1,000 and not 100% on the jockey booking. Thought it was interesting that they went for Corva. No disrespect, but she's not Pike.
no, but well, Pike doesn't ride Bob's horses anymore, does he?
No, not really.
No, so that may have just been limited to what they had. Keep It a Mystery loves the Belmont 5 furlongs. So wouldn't be surprised if it figures. I think it's look, I'd mentioned match race, but yeah, no points for saying that the top three in the market are all live chances. I don't think anything else in the race is up to them. Look, Rich and Co. obviously returned really, really well first up. Prospectors Pick looked to have put it all together last start as well, while still probably doing a little bit wrong in the race.
Prospectors
Yeah,
doing a bit wrong.
just throwing it.
Uh,
I swear it threw its head around a fair bit.
uh,
It had to really dig deep to get past on the full.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But I think that was a good sign, especially for them going forward, that they do have that versatility in races where they're going to need it. I just don't think this should be a time to exercise that versatility.
yeah, I completely agree. It's probably maybe I don't know. It's got one of the highest expectations, this horse at the moment. For yeah, after what 8 starts and 3 wins, uh, the chatter around it has been like he's a proper animal. I'd just like to see him put Fields away
Yeah.
and showcase that a bit. I think the
I don't know.
245 is
I'm not against line
probably
finders. I'll never be against line finders.
no, that's right.
Give me a line finder every day of the week.
Just like a Saturday night. Race number 4, 2100 60 plus,
Take it away.
33.
Very good. Look, Famous Dane was a good winner at Albany. Probably didn't beat heaps, but um, sort of always looked like he needed that extra distance and probably not much of an OSL horse for mine, but they did only go slow and sprint home, but he demolished them. He's very, very short, considering they'll be on a pretty dry track, and he seems to do his better racing with a little bit of sting out. Don't think he can't do it on the dry. Just think he's not wide as effective. Um, apart from that, uh, it's just a bit ugly. Pretty happy to stay out of the stairs on opening day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably the one thing I dislike about Belmont is that the stairs just seem to what are those fucking merry-go-rounds? They
Take it in
just
turns.
yeah,
Let's
not
keep
even
going.
they just bob up and down. They don't look like they're ever like doing anything. They just do they just yeah, I don't know. It's
I need to install some staples for the
I
stag
tell you
races.
what,
Make them interesting.
could get around that. Bring affluential back.
I don't think the jocks would.
No,
The jocks
no.
would riot.
Oh, they could start eating more. Carry 76. Um, race number five is the 71 plus over a mile. Old mate Western Power 230, Trio $3, Bondi Plunge 650, Meow, Classic Rogue 7, Lover Session, and the rest double figures.
Tricky, Matt, because I think the more I looked at it, the more I thought Western Power had to end up in front. But you've got Bob Peters and Lucy Fiore. I think she's starting to ride a bit more positively, which has always been my biggest gripe with her. Is some races you have to look at it and just say, "This is I have to take the bull by the horns here." And he's been ridden on speed and up three wide, no cover. Two of his last three, including the day one. So I think I just don't think there'll be anything else that wants it. So I think he'll float forward to the front. Um, got beat by Trio two starts ago, with Trio settling a lot closer to him than he will here, and with him settling OSL versus this time he'll be in front for mine. Gets a weight swing. I think he's your most likely winner. Probably a nearly short enough considering, like I say, I'm just not sure what they will do with him, but I really think he will end up in front, and from there he becomes pretty hard to beat. The only other ones I thought might try and take that off him are maybe a classic rogue if it jumps, but it just has no tactical speed from watching all the replays of the last two preps. Maybe Let's Deal, but probably not. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so he ended up in front. So that made him your most likely winner. Like him back up to a mile, like him off a week.
Where is Clint on Saturday?
Don't know. I tried to look up suspended riders the other day because he and Pike both weren't there Wednesday. And the last time the document had been updated was 3 weeks ago. So full credit Rawa.
Fantastic. Um, yeah, look, Western Power, he's done it tough his last two. Um, last start was, yeah, I don't
Actually,
know.
and he wouldn't be on holiday because Georgia was there doing photos on Wednesday.
Maybe
So
just went
Clint
boyfriend.
wasn't there. Maybe.
Good on him. Rate it. Yeah, look, Western Power, I think it's the obvious. He's ultra consistent at this point. He's starting to put it all together. Was really, really good run last start, considering he was three deep the trip. Um, like you mentioned, two back trio, just got all the favors. That being said, at about the 200, it looked gone. It wasn't doing anything and then just extended impressively late.
Shades back
Um,
on for Juno.
yeah, yeah. So look, I, it's I mean, there's no prize in saying I think Western Power wins 230, probably about the right price. Um, can't say that I'm diving into it. Bondi Plunge is just another merry-go-round horse. It's just there every time.
Don't like her at a
Um,
mile either.
hey,
Don't like her at a mile at all.
no, no, I think that's interesting.
Just be a
Um,
programming thing.
yeah,
Uh,
could be. Yep.
although she is Westmead eligible, so interesting that she's not in that 1300 meter heat trying to get into the final.
Mm,
That's probably in 2 weeks' time.
yeah. So yeah, for me, it's Western Power on top, but won't be betting in the race. Race number six, first leg of the quaddy, 1200 meters, 60 plus.
We
We
like
have
to
catch.
pause it now.
Yep. All right. First leg of the quaddy, we have a load.
Graduation.
We have a graduation handicap, 1200 meters. Catch Carter 270, American Escape 330, Close Talker 550, Sky Duke 750, and $11 the rest, or $11 and up the rest. Where do you start here, Toby?
I think you start with the two 3-year-olds, who are your two favourites and look sort of quite progressive for graduation grade. Catch Carter, um, I was speaking as the best roughie you'll ever back in a Placid Arc, which you didn't get a start in.
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, resumed over 1,000 metres first up behind KTY, carried 60 kilos, came wide on a fence day, ran into third, was pretty good. Looks to get closer here from two, like him up to 1,200. Probably short enough, I would say, around the 270, 280 mark. Probably feels about his right price, I would say. American Escape, um, two good wins before going to the Pinjaro Magic Millions, and sort of she was fine. She wasn't as good as any of the top end ones there, but she acquitted herself well to come back into a race like this. Trialled up really nicely, pushed out, but still extended away under the junior rider. Probably gets a pretty good run from four, and Lucy Fiore
With
can
the informed Lucy Fiore.
seemingly do no wrong. Yes, I think they're your starting point. Your next one in the market's Close Talker, who I can't quite make sense of the price. I think she's a little overrated by the market for the most part. Didn't like her last start at $3.10 with a sticky map. And I think she's got another one here. I hike on, but find it hard to see her winning from last against a couple of nice 3-year-olds. Sky Duke finds a race that would be a pretty nice race if he could find the front, but I think that Lost Gravity will elect to hold the front. So he was good last start, considering he didn't lead, took the trail 1-1 on a fence day and peeled out and went close. Showed a bit more fight than he can do when he endures those sort of runs. So um, do think the 1,200 is his better trip at this point in his life. First beach went too bad to be true. First up, expect him to bounce back, but also probably expected Brad Parnham to be riding if he was going to bounce back. I think Brad is your first serve rider on King of Key. Tried pretty good, King of Key.
Yep.
Earmuffs on behind a nice one in Girls' Day Out. But think this race will more than likely be won by a 3-year-old.
I agree. I'm big in the camp of American Escape. I think the Morton Yard is firing at the moment. Trial win was really, really nice. Lucy's airborne. Looks to map. I think it gets a really soft map. Probably just what sits behind the leading brigade. Probably 1-1, maybe.
It just depends how Catch Carter jumps, I think.
Yeah.
Whether she's
Um,
1-1 or 1-2, I would say.
yeah. And from there, I think, given that it's not a fence fire or, you need to be lane one all day, then I think American Escape is smart enough to go on with it in this second prep and looking forward to seeing how she goes. Quaddy,
Just the two 3-year-olds.
510. Yep. Race
Do
number
that.
7, 1,300 meters in a 58 plus. We have Bohemian Diamond resuming 225. Ocean Goddess $6. Hammermill 650. Why Me $11, and North the rest. This is a $33 for me.
Really?
West Speed
Um,
favourite.
I think there's plenty of speed engaged throughout the line. Not exactly sure who holds the top, and I don't think it really matters. There's nothing that's sort of in that go forward brigade who I would price overly short in this. So, um, Bohemian Diamond, another one from the Dan Morton stable, off a very nice trial for her. Trial a lot better than she did leading into last prep, I thought. and she was really good in those first two starts last prep, won by 3 lengths each time. Was just really strong through the line on both occasions, and then went around $3 in a strong West Beat Platinum. I think it was a heat going towards the final of that series in summer. Started $3 off a setback with a sticky map. Never really got into the race, so I thought you could completely ignore that. She was tipped straight out. Like I said, trialled, I thought, better leading into this preparation. She jumps, think she gets the gate to be in front of it, dangers, think she more than likely wins. Thought I was being pretty short with her, but I think the market has pretty well agreed with me. So there's not a heap of value, at least not at the moment. Be interesting what the late market does. Wouldn't be surprised to see her go either way. Happy to potentially spec a couple around her if she started at $1.80 or something that I would deem silly. Or pretty happy to be on her if she drifts and I get a positive parade. So
Fair enough. Enough said.
yep. Ocean
Want it?
Goddess, I think, is a clear second pick
Okay.
as well.
Quaddy.
Do you, I think one out because I think we'll be going pretty wide the next two legs.
Perfect. 7. Race number 8, 1400 meters, 60 plus WA Provincial Championship. Is this the final? It is.
Yep.
It is. How exciting. Treble Maker 340, Platinum Shot 420, Camera Action $6, Psycho Sister 750, and $12 plus the rest. Yeah, deep, deep race, I think, for the
Race.
how do you say it without being rude?
There's some progressive horses in this,
Yeah.
and there are some less progressive horses.
Yep.
I think the three favourites will all win multiple races in the next year.
Well, I mean, you've got Platinum Shot who's fairly exposed, so I think it's the one that's under the odds for me at this point. I think that's the whole.
Probably, I think you can even a pie tax barrier 13. I think both of the Platinum Shot and Camera Action will struggle to beat Treble Maker because Treble Maker feels like he's a little bit more on the way up and gets a better map and gets Lucy Fiore.
Mm.
Peter Fernie is very good at winning this race.
Yes. Yes.
Or at least being very competitive in it. Can't remember whether Ablo won that year, but if he didn't, he was an enormous run.
He was a moral beat. Was Ablo
and then again
the one
last
with
year,
Pat Carvey wrote it? Ablo?
no, that was Californication.
Oh,
That was Californication.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the
I
one.
think Ablo was unlucky and behind him, and the year before, Ablo and Starring Knight ran 1-2. Can't remember
Yes.
who won, but Ablo
I think
circled from
yeah.
last.
I think Ablo won it, and then the following year was really big and behind Californication, who's I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm still not over that. Still not over that.
Yeah, really.
No.
You really keeping it tight and close to your chest. I think from there, there's a lot of horses who are in a real similar price bracket, and I think a lot of them should be a lot longer, and a few of them should be a bit shorter.
Yeah.
Won't give. Well, we'll give a bit of that away. I think we'll keep the quaddy numbers for this race just to the channel because there's a few that I'll be throwing in at odds.
Yep.
Throughout the line, it's just like I say. There's a few who I think should be triple figures, and there's a few who I think should be at least a bit shorter than their current price.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
That being said, I think Treble Maker is your deserving favourite.
Yes.
For the reasons I listed above.
Yep, I completely agree.
There'll be plenty of speed on here as well with Psycho Sister and Looks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's going to be a capacity field, so you'll get a 3 deep line at some point as well. So that 3 wide line will come into play, and yeah, it'll be on for young and old. Race number 9, 1400, 65 plus. We have Black Aura, 420. Correct choice, $6. The Amber, 7. Dug another hole, 850. Speed Dream, 10. Madame Magic, 10. And longer the rest. Take it away.
Uh, Another tricky race, probably less tricky from a map sense, thinking that dug another hole finds the front, and then probably Mosquito ends up eventually working his way to OSL. Not sure what a few of the ones wider do, whether they chance their arm at going forward underneath Mosquito and taking the cover on him or not, with a Black Aura's category 3 D'Amber, but I'd lean towards that they wouldn't. Um, Chances, Black Aura starting point as your favourite. She was perhaps a little bit disappointing last start. I wasn't convinced on her staying at 1,000 metres. The step straight to 14 is intriguing.
Yep.
I still wanted to have her favourite in this race purely on the basis that she is a progressive 3-year-old. And I think the extra distance will not pose a massive issue. Didn't get her overly short by any means, but was pretty happy to make her favourite. I think the race is pretty open. Speed Dream gets back to his preferred surface at Belmont. His last 2 runs have been really good, been building nicely, gets the jockey change. But imagine Jason Whiting has chosen to ride D'Amber. So that is intriguing. D'Amber, another who goes quite well at Belmont without ever having won.
Yep.
4 seconds from 7 starts, doing something right. Was solid first up. Like her, yes. Better out to 1,400, and like I say, back to Belmont. Category 3 won nicely enough for Peter Ferdy first up. Time wasn't anything outstanding. Madam Magic got all the favours last start. Isn't going to get them here. Dug another hole leads. If it's a leader's day, he'll give some pretty solid cheek. And correct choice, just don't like the apprentice on all of that much.
I was just about to say, I don't know what it is. I don't know what Braden's done, but for some reason,
He's not good.
I've found him 3 times today. For tomorrow's card. I've got him on top. I thought that win of correct choice last start was fantastic. I think he's really, really progressive. Gets to 1,400 from 15 is I think that's a slight question mark. On that, I imagine that again is maybe just a programming thing.
That's definitely well into
Yeah,
there are no 1,500s at
that's it.
Belmont, but could have gone
I
to a mile race.
exactly, yeah. And the other one down the bottom of the page, Ton of Grunts. Looking forward to seeing this horse at Belmont. I think it's going to be a horse that's better suited to the wider track. That being said, its run at Pinjarra in the provincial championship heat was, I think, better than it reads on paper. And look, because I really liked its trial leading into that. So
Yeah, and Lyndon's Gold won today at Albany out of that trial. If you want to
bit of trial form.
read anything into that,
Yep, yeah, bit of
and
trial
out of
form.
that Pinjarra race when unsuited.
Yes. And yeah, look, it was a pretty competitive Pinjarra race. Like you got 6 shooter in there who's won no,
Nope.
hasn't won again. But Ukai continues to run well. Um, you've got Psycho Sister who's in the market in the championship heat, the championship final. So yeah, I think Ton of Grunt offers good value. Um, Madame Magic was back to I don't want to say best because I don't know really what her best is, but she was back somewhat last start. And you touched on Speed Dream and D'Amber. I think Black Aura, Barrier 13, they have to go back.
Again, I think
I
it's a
take that
race where
poison.
you can change your arm if you want, and I think you'll end up getting cover on Mosquito, whether that's in the 3 wide line or the 1 out line. So I don't think they will, but that
It's
is
there.
certainly what I would be doing if I was them.
Yeah,
But I see things differently, and that's
awesome.
okay.
Quaddy legs, quaddy leg.
Another definitely wide leg.
Yep.
How wide do we want to go?
I I'm gonna say race 8. We're gonna get a decent priced winner in that leg. I wouldn't hesitate going wide here.
Yeah, absolutely not. But it's just a matter of how wide. Um, because
Black or
I
Aurora?
think I would leave out three. I would leave out the four. I'd wait until the day because if the fence was good, I'd throw in the four. Otherwise, I'd leave it out at the price.
Yep.
I'd sort of go 1, 2, 5, 8, 11, 12, 13.
I'd
Anything you would like to veto or include?
I would veto the 13. I th I think it
I
probably
think he'll need to run and go better next
yeah.
up. I
Yep.
thought the trials were good enough to. I would include it.
Yeah, I would veto the 13.
Okay.
That
Well,
being
Patrick
said,
Carberry slander.
vetoing $19 is not that ballsy, but
No,
anyway.
we move.
We do. All right, fantastic.
Best
Thank you,
Kev.
Toby. Your prices will be in the channel today, this afternoon, or tomorrow morning.
They were there
Oh, they
yesterday
were. You were on the
because
ball. Yeah.
I didn't go to York
Yep.
after my experience there on the public holiday on Monday. But it sounds like I'll be clear to return to Thursdays at York in the near future, attending.
Fantastic. So yes, your prices, updated prices tomorrow morning after scratchings. You'll have your Mannyard mail from opening day at Belmont, obviously in the channel. I'll be roaming around somewhere if I'm
It is
awake.
also opening day at Carnarvon.
Fantastic. Dirt season
Always a
again, I
tricky
guess.
meeting, first meeting. I don't sort of like to play the first couple of races real hard. I like to try and see who's firing and who's not in races 1 through to probably 3,
Yep.
and do my best from there.
All right. Say less. Back in your happy place, back in your happy time of the year,
Oh, yeah.
ready to cook. Thank you very much, Toby. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kev.